So our story kicks off with this regular salaryman in Japan. He gets flattened by a truck, dies, and surprise, gets absolutely zero superpowers. Zilch. Cut to a kid sprinting for his life from some nightmare fuel. Meanwhile, soldiers are getting wiped out left and right, and this one guy is so terrified he's actually considering ending it all right there. He's terrified, weighing the pros and cons of just quitting the game early. But he hasn't pulled the trigger yet. Meanwhile, elsewhere in this chaotic mess, that little kid is still booking it, lugging a box totally bigger than he is. Hot on his heels is a monster that looks like a discount version of an Elden Ring boss. Just, smaller. Back with the squad, the unarmored guy decides running away is the new brave. The soldier up front tries to argue, but one look at the guy's desperate face tells him that retreating is literally their only move if they want to keep breathing. The soldier stands up screaming about their temple, and yep, instantly deleted. Just immediately torn apart, brutal. Suddenly, the other guy doesn't feel like offing himself anymore. Survival instinct kicked in. Back to the kid, he takes a nasty hit from behind and face plants hard into the dirt. Luckily, he scrambles into a tiny hole. The monster tries to follow, but it's too chunky to fit through. But the beast isn't a quitter. It keeps jamming its limbs in, trying to grab a snack. It actually gets close, and the kid sees his short life flashing before his eyes. Desperate, he begs for a specific someone to come save his hide. Right on cue, someone comes flying in like a rocket. This guy drive-bys the monster with a dagger from above, leaving the kid totally stunned. Then, the savior patches him up, but the kid starts whining, asking to be killed so he can just respawn in a fresh body. The man punches him square in the face. He explains that reviving heroes means dragging their souls back from hell, which isn't exactly a spa day. He says it leaves a nasty taste, wrecks your self-esteem, and fries your memory banks. Die enough times, and you lose your drive for everything, becoming just a hollow killing machine. He asks the kid if he's died so much he's already forgotten the downsides. The guy, Xylo, says things are grim. He's not even sure the army can recover their corpses if they bite the dust out here. So if the kid, Dada, wants to die, he should go do it somewhere else. Dada finally mans up and yanks the branch out of his gut. He screams bloody murder, which is fair. I can't judge the pain since I've never been impaled by a tree. If you've been stabbed, let me know how it feels in the comments. Now Xylo and Dada discuss the nightmare fuel they're fighting. Dada mentions seeing a ton of fairies, which is definitely not normal for a Tuesday. Yeah, those ugly monsters are actually called fairies. Xylo figures it's a massive demonic outbreak, meaning there are probably 5,000 of those things waiting to be squashed. Dada freaks out at the numbers. He asks if it's seriously just the two of them against an entire army, and Xylo nods. The plague is corrupting the woods fast. Their job is to cover the retreat for those incompetent holy knights. With zero backup coming, Xylo reminds him they can't run. They're wearing explosive collars that will blow their heads off if they fail the mission. Dada still thinks bolting and waiting for a respawn is the smarter play. But Xylo isn't keen on losing more memories or his sanity. He's terrified of forgetting who he actually is. That's his worst nightmare. As heroes, they're stuck doing the dirty work. Xylo gets up, telling Dada they need to move before the knights get wiped out. Walking over to Dada's box, Xylo realizes the idiot is carrying a literal coffin. Annoyed, he asks why Dada swiped it. Dada shrugs, saying it just looks stealable. Xylo kicks the box and hears a thud, something's definitely inside. He asks if Dada stole a loaded coffin. Dada admits it was super heavy, so yeah, probably a body. So there's almost certainly a corpse in there. Xylo asks for a reason, but Dada's brain is empty. He just did it on impulse. They need to check if it's trash or treasure, so they crack it open and find a girl inside. Dada asks if she's royalty, but Xylo says she isn't even human. Xylo identifies her as a goddess, one of those ancient living weapons made to fight demon lords. Apparently she's one of humanity's last rays of hope, which sounds like a lot of pressure. Dada squints, noting she just looks like a regular kid. The goddesses he knows are usually giant, impressive statues. Xylo ignores his ignorance completely. He just says they need to move. Suddenly, a hunting horn blares. Judging by the volume, Xylo figures it's either scouts or another squad nearby. Xylo checks on the valley below. Dada reports it's a mess, with people getting hammered by monsters. Down there, guards are getting eaten alive. One guy manages to slice a fairy, but his buddies clearly skip the advanced combat class. Xylo watches calmly as the battle turns into a horror show, with limbs flying everywhere. Dada wants to run immediately. but Xylo decides saving a few meat shields is better. He gears up, but then hears a voice. Turning around, he sees the goddess girl walking over. Just by her stride, you can tell she's carrying some serious power. She decides Xylo is going to be her new knight. Xylo isn't thrilled. She demands he kill the enemies and then reward her with head pats and praise. She promises him the good life if he just worships her. Xylo shrugs, admitting to Dada that this weirdo really is a goddess. Probably the 13th one that had been gathering dust until now. She introduces herself as Teorita, the guardian bringing miracles to humanity. She tells Xylo to rely on her, promising to grant whatever he wishes for. Since that's her whole job, Xylo snaps back, annoyed that she's oversimplifying everything. He calls her talk garbage and drops the bomb that he actually hates goddesses. He glances at Dada and tells him to babysit the deity. Poor Dada is clueless, and Xylo isn't offering an instruction manual. Xylo marches off to save the knights, refusing to rely on some goddesses' cheat codes. But he stops, realizing he needs Dada's eyes to actually find the enemy. So Dada has to follow, leaving the pouting goddess behind. Near the fight, Dada points out the best target to hit. Suddenly, the goddess teleports next to Xylo, impressed by Dada's sharp eyesight. Just like that, she's back in the mix. The demonic fairies spot Xylo charging in and swivel around to ruin his day. Xylo ignores the goddess, hurling a mana-infused dagger straight at the ugly things. It connects, blowing one fairy into exactly 1,967 pieces. At least, that's what I counted thanks to my obsessive attention to detail. Teorita asks what kind of nuke he just set off. Xylo explains it was a holy seal of heat and light. He tells her to back off and stay hidden. She's stunned that he's actively refusing her divine help. He blasts another fairy, saving a knight from becoming lunch. 2 more monsters pop up immediately and get instantly vaporized. Xylo yells at Dada to wake up and start shooting. One fairy decides Dada looks tasty and charges him. He manages to drop it, but the forest starts swarming with them. Teorita freezes, asking if Dada needs backup. He's too awkward to say yes, so he just tells her to stay safe. Xylo nukes a whole cluster of them, but almost gets taken out by a sneaky one hiding in the smoke. Dada saves him at the last second, though his aim nearly took Xylo's head off too. Xylo ignores the friendly fire and demands more cover. They push forward into the horde, with the goddess trailing behind, desperately trying to look useful. Up ahead, we see a bunch of survivors. Xylo tells them to run, but their leader insists on stopping to say a proper thank you. But as he gets close, he realizes his savior is actually a death row convict. The knight draws his sword, claiming it hurts his pride to be saved by a criminal. Dada asks why they're getting threatened instead of thanked, which is a valid question. Xylo just sighs. This is standard treatment for heroes like them. Teorita steps up, defending Xylo. She says he helped because he can't ignore people in trouble. But seeing the goddess, that just makes the knights even more suspicious of the duo. They demand to know why such a VIP isn't back with the cargo team. Xylo gets ready to brawl. He asks if they'll back down if he explains. Dada is panicking, totally against fighting allies when monsters are still incoming. Suddenly, a voice called Venetum speaks directly into their skulls. Xylo is busy killing fairies, so he tells the voice to hurry up. The voice warns that the main Holy Knight force is inbound. Xylo double-checks the intel, so Venetum spills the tea on the disaster unfolding. Apparently, the knights are grouping up to body-block the plague. Xylo asks the grunts what exactly their captain is smoking. The squad leader says this suicide pact was Captain Kivia's idea, and they are totally ready to die for her drama. Venetum asks Xylo if he plans to intervene, because if too many die, the mission fails and their punishment will be worse than death. Xylo asks for their location. Venetum scans the map and pinpoints them over by the Parcel River. Xylo tells the squad to stay put, because joining the main group just makes them dead weight. One knight insists on dying for his boss. Xylo shuts him down, ordering a retreat south where the path is clear and their handlers are actually waiting for them. Xylo decides to go grab their commander before she croaks. He tells Dada the party isn't over, which annoys him. The goddess is thrilled by the heroism, ignoring that Xylo's just saving his own neck. Dada throws a tantrum, refusing to risk his life for a bunch of idiot knights. Xylo tells him to zip it. He'd love to let them die since he hates people who throw their lives away. But abandoning them would make him worse than that trash. He turns, telling Dada they have to move. Meanwhile, the knights are having a really bad time with the war. They are taking massive casualties. During a lull, they try to eat while keeping watch for anything trying to kill them. Suddenly, enemies appear and everyone gears up to fight. The demonic fairies charge in and the knights obey their stunning commander. As the fairies cross the perimeter, the captain orders fire, wiping out the first wave instantly. A scout reports the win, but the celebration is cut short. Now, plague-infected trolls are stomping in, bringing more of those annoying little fairies with them. The captain orders the thunder ballistae to fire and block the river crossing. The first shot drops a troll, but Xylo does the math. He realizes the soldiers definitely don't have enough ammo to kill all these ugly bastards. Dada asks if Xylo knows them. Xylo says he's never seen their crest before. Dada suggests abandoning them, claiming they can handle it. The goddess immediately scolds him for being a coward. She insists he share the glory. Xylo watches, amused, as Dada admits he's literally never been invited to a victory party before. Back at the fight, the knights run dry on ammo. The captain orders a melee charge. Naturally, the massacre starts immediately. Xylo notes the demon lord is smart, organizing the beasts instead of letting them run wild. Xylo plans to join the fray and force a retreat, but gets interrupted mid-sentence. He realizes Dada has vanished. Xylo finds a note saying Dada went to loot the knights. Xylo isn't surprised, typical behavior for that useless hero. The goddess beams with pride, claiming she's the only trustworthy one. Xylo still refuses to use her divine cheats. He vaults the wall, using a power burst to rush the battlefield. He tosses explosive daggers, blowing a cluster of fairies to smithereens. Landing, he dodges a fairy attack and slices the thing in half from the side. He pushes on, saving everyone he can. Dead fairies spawn gross worms that lunge at soldiers. They try shooting the little pests out of the air. But it doesn't help much. One bite melts human flesh like butter. Xylo keeps moving, dodging and blasting as many enemies as possible to clear the way. By now, he's chucked at least 30 of those explosive daggers. He wipes out most of the demons, finally catching the captain's eye. She approaches Xylo, demanding to know his identity. The goddess steps up, praising Xylo. The captain is stunned to see a deity chilling in a war zone. Xylo explains the cargo team died, and she's been following him like a lost puppy. He reminds the captain that he absolutely hates goddesses. He insists he hasn't made any pacts. He tells the goddess to pick another knight. The captain asks again who Xylo is and what he wants. Xylo would love to chat, but they're out of time. He looks back, warning that the Demon King is here. The plague spreads insanely fast. A random frog mutates into one of those nasty fairies. The Demon King corrupts everything nearby, turning all living things into his minions. Facing a massive army, the terrified soldiers panic and fire their lightning weapons. The captain shouts she didn't order that, but it's too late. The shots fly. The Demon King uses a force field to deflect the lightning right back at them. Xylo tells the captain to retreat north, since her only long-range weapons just got reflected. But the captain refuses to run. Annoyed, Xylo says his orders are specifically to help them retreat. She realizes Xylo is a hero, and getting help from him hurts her ego. She reveals they plan to sacrifice themselves so the goddess could escape, but now that entire plan is totally ruined. Hearing the name Xylo rings a bell for the captain, but before she can speak, a monster approaches and, does something weird. It reveals a suspicious appendage. The creature starts firing meatballs at everyone. Xylo yells to duck, but it's useless. The meatballs are actually eggs that burst into giant insects. They start devouring the humans, leaving absolutely nothing behind. The soldier formation breaks, and the massacre is now officially happening. The captain orders them to hold, but the soldiers are wasting all their ammo in panic. Xylo kills a few monsters, then spots the captain in trouble and rushes to save her. His dagger breaks, but he still makes the monster explode. He tells the captain her luck is definitely running out. Suddenly, insects eat a ray gun, causing a misfire that blasts Xylo and everyone nearby. Xylo wakes up to find the goddess staring at him. She insists he use her power, or everyone dies a sad death. But Xylo refuses the pact. He shouts at Captain Kivia to make the pact herself. Then he sees a piece of her armor on the ground. He hears soldiers dying everywhere. The goddess begs him again to make the pact, hate or not. She promises him total victory. Out of options, Xylo finally agrees to the deal. Teorita tries explaining the terms and conditions, but Xylo cuts her off, telling her to just hurry up. He cuts his arm and offers his hand to her. She kisses his hand, granting him divine power. Xylo feels the power enter him through the back door. He instantly regrets everything. Teorita introduces herself as the sword goddess and lends him her strength. He tells her to bring it on. Suddenly, a rain of swords wipes out every demon in the vicinity. Teorita asks for praise and a head pat, but he says there are still demons to kill. He throws a sword that explodes on impact thanks to her power. He demands more swords. She says she'll bill him for head pats later. With this power, Xylo finally has infinite ammo cheat codes enabled. He blasts demons until the captain shows up, then demands she finally order the retreat. She asks why she should listen. He says obedience is the price of survival. He's going to beat the Demon King. She can file her complaints after that. The goddess asks if he's doing this for honor. Xylo says nope, he just really wants to inflict extreme violence on that thing. He charges with the goddess, running straight into a massive horde of monsters. She offers to help, but Xylo refuses to let her fight. He knows even goddesses have limits and shouldn't underestimate the enemy. He charges forward like a maniac. He cuts down everything in his path, keeping the goddess on the bench for now. Finally, he's face to face with the Demon King. He dodges an attack, then counters, stabbing an exploding sword right into let's call it a sensitive area. But the boss is still standing. Cornered by an absurd number of monsters, Xylo finally lets the goddess unleash her power to wipe them out with style. She clears the board, and Xylo charges the Demon King again. Reading his mind, the goddess summons a sword bigger than my ego, or my fat neighbor. Apparently, the bigger the sword, the bigger the boom Xylo makes. That massive explosive blade was enough to completely vaporize the ugly Demon King. He hits the dirt, claiming victory, but the boss regenerates and lunges at the goddess, forcing Xylo to tank the hit himself. He wakes up to the worried goddess. The Demon King is going berserk, smashing his own minions, and Xylo just watches, completely out of ideas on what to do next. Then Dada appears, asking if everyone is okay. Xylo spots the scorched earth cannon Dada is holding and just starts laughing. He praises Dada's sticky fingers, since he finally stole something that is actually useful. Xylo cranks the cannon to max power, standing up to deliver the final kill shot. He chucks the bomb at the boss and books it, dragging Dada and the goddess away. It's brutal. Nothing is left standing. With the king dead, his gross fairy minions start retreating fast. Xylo mentions he's killed plenty of kings, but never with help from a loser like Dada. The goddess asks if she did good and helped. Xylo hates to admit that she saved the day. He says she did good staying alive. It's weird praise, but she demands head pats anyway. Xylo hesitates but slowly raises his hand up. A dark memory of another girl suddenly stops him cold. Then Captain Kivia shows up. She calls Xylo out, revealing he's a death row inmate who killed his previous goddess personally. Even if Teorita trusts him, he is definitely not worthy of making a pact. We see a flashback of Xylo's trial. He was once a guard captain. He defeated the 11th plague, but was accused of leading his entire squad to a pointless, bloody death. Xylo insists he was just following direct orders, but the brass denies it, pinning the whole disaster on him. Then they accuse him of murdering his goddess. He doesn't deny it, stating he had no other choice. She used all her power to save everyone, leaving her completely drained and vulnerable. He had to end her life. Turns out when a goddess runs dry, the plague corrupts her almost instantly, becoming something worse than a king. But High Command denies that goddesses can be infected by the plague. Xylo says she knew the risks and was already turning into a monster. He had to put her down. The trial is a sham, accusing him of making terrible calls and murdering his deity in cold blood. His sentence gets worse for blasphemy. Xylo realizes the deck is stacked, concluding the whole thing was a setup to eliminate him and his goddess from the very start. Sentenced to be a hero, Xylo loses everything but swears to find the people who framed him and get his revenge. That wraps up the first episode. I'll be dropping these weekly for you guys. So like and subscribe and come back next week for the next part.